Okay, we have a quorum. Michelle, are you ready to go? And we'll let Earl jump in as he goes. We'll get this meeting going. I'd like to invite everyone to stand for the pledge of the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic
which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I see we got Commissioner Potter. He's connecting now. You could probably unmute Earl. Earl, unmute yourself.
Rob, check this out.
Whoa.
Nice. I see that nice fish. Okay, minutes of June 17th. We had a virtual meeting. I'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes of June 17th.
I so move, Commissioner Givens.
Commissioner, 5 seconds.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Financial report and payment of the bills. Do we have a motion to approve the financial report?
Commissioner Givens, I so move.
Second, Commissioner Piner.
Any discussion on the financial report? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Steve Repo, we have a budget amendment, 2020-12. Can you explain that to us?
I should have two budget amendments. They're both for fiscal year 2020. The first one is to recognize a community legacy grant for the Elkton Downtown Facade Program. We received $61,264 that was expended on the community promotion. So that is a grant that's basically administered through the Alliance, but we are the grantee. So we receive the money, we disperse the money.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to accept budget amendment 2020-12?
So moved, Commissioner Piner. Second, Commissioner Mastriano.
Any discussion on that budget amendment? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, my second budget amendment is number 2020-13. Again, it's for fiscal year 2013. It's to recognize $110,277 in grants from the Community Development Block Grant Program and a $5,000 donation from Elkton Alliance. And that all went toward the completion of the Town Square ADA project down at the Alliance.
Very nice.
$115,277.
Do we have a motion to approve budget amendment 2020-13?
I so move, Commissioner Givens.
Second it, Commissioner Mastriano.
Any discussion on that ADA project? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Charlie, do you want to take a second and do the 2020 Mayor and Commissioner Scholarship Award presentation, or do we need to wait on that?
No, you don't need to wait on it. I'll be glad to do so. Our awards went to a young lady by the name of Caroline Parker, and she plans to go to Albright College in Pennsylvania to major in graphic designs. I'll save time by saying that her academic records were extremely, very, very, very good. And she also was a young lady who was in the National Honor Society, and she played some athletic sports. The other gentleman that received our award is named Ronald Strickland, and he is planning to go to Morgan State University to major in a health-related field. His academics, they were good to make it through school and to do well in college. He was a member of the cross-country track team. He was also a member of the National Honor Society, and these two students would be very capable once they go to school. However, they did not have an awards assembly, and it was done virtual, and I'm assuming that they were told. However, the checks have been written for both of them to receive, but I have not been able to make contact with any of them, even the mother's phone number. I called on July the 12th and July the 9th. I called the numbers given to me by the school. There's been no answer twice. I'm going to call again today and also allow Michelle to call as well. So hopefully they'll be able to contact one of us. They could be on vacation, but normally if you have a cell phone, you answer it.
Mm-hmm.
So basically that's where we are with that.
Fantastic. Congratulations to Caroline Parker and Ronald Strickland for the 2020 Mayor and Commissioner Scholarship Award. Thank you, Charlie, for leading us with that.
All right. Thank you much.
Thank you. It is now 12:05. We are going to have a public hearing in regards to annexation resolution A2-2020. It's going to be presented for adoption. Gene, do you need to read something in? You're on mute.
Did you want me to read the resolution?
Yeah, I think it would probably be good to read the resolution.
Pretty extensive document.
Do you want me just to read the presented for annexation?
Want me to give a quick summary?
Lou, go ahead.
Yeah, it involves two parcels. One's located at 732 East Pulaski Highway, and that's at the intersection of Route 40 and Maloney Road. And right behind it and contiguous with that is approximately 1.5 acre parcel that's address is 411 Maloney Road. I think the intent of the people that are annexing this is to develop that as one unit, as one property ultimately for commercial purposes, which is pretty much consistent with what it is now, although it's not nearly as attractive as what the developers anticipate for the new development. And because this was introduced on the 27th of May, and is subject to a public hearing and any public comments today. And once the public hearing is ended and the board wishes to adopt it, it will be effective 45 days from today's date. And I think we have representatives from the property here.
Okay, we've got Mr. David Plott. Is there anything that you would like to state in regards to the annexation?
Yes, so thank you again for having us back. We've been before you previously on this petition. Really appreciate the guidance that the town has given to us on it. And that is correct that the intent is to combine the properties into one lot for redevelopment for much more attractive use and to serve the public, not only the traveling public, but also convenience for nearby residents. I do have Mr. Tim Horner, who's the contract purchaser of the properties, is on the call with us. Mr. Phil Hager, who is a project consultant and planner, and Eric McWilliams, who is the engineer. Mr. George described the proposal pretty succinctly. I did want to confirm, because I know there were changed instructions for calling in immediately before the meeting. So it was updated, so there's no issue in terms of notice of the hearing.
I don't believe so.
Okay, good. Just wanted to confirm that. So we are available to answer any questions that you have with respect to the annexation or the project that's being proposed. I understand that there's been a letter from the Maryland Department of Planning with respect to the criteria of, the zoning is very much similar to what's being requested under the town's zoning as to what exists under the county zoning now. And I believe that letter was stating support from the Maryland Department of Planning for the annexation. And really appreciate the town and everybody who's helped keep this moving through the process in very, very challenging times that we're all facing right now.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the board that has any questions or comments about this annexation?
If I could jump in, Mayor, we also received a letter from Cecil County stating that the zoning is essentially is not different from the one that in the county zoning, so they did not have any objection to the zoning.
Thank you, Gene.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yeah, Commissioner Masmiano.
Is there any projection as to what type of business is going to go in there?
Yes, so Mr. Horner is a preferred developer for 7-Eleven. So the intent is to basically demolish some of the dilapidated structures that are on the property now and to process a plan for a convenience store and gasoline station, modern facility on the property with public service utilities.
Right,
and that will obviously be going through the town's development review and approval process after we get through the annexation.
Mm-hmm.
So given good weather and good conditions, and if you do get the approval, what is your time frame for having this project completed?
I would defer to Mr. Horner and to Mr. McWilliams, who is the project engineer, as to the time frame for being able to process things through, and Ms. Mentor might be able to provide some insight too on how quickly the town is able to process plans.
So this is Mr. McWilliams. It's a good question. We want to move as quickly as possible once we get the annexation. So we're thinking hopefully within a year we have our permits.
Okay.
Very good. This is a public hearing. I've got 7164. Do you have any comments in regards to the annexation?
No, sir.
Okay, I also have an iPhone that's on mute right now, Michelle. It just says iPhone. I'm not sure who that would be and if they're trying to speak or not.
I sent them a message asking them to unmute their phone.
Okay. Seeing that, we'll give it a few seconds here for whether or not the phone can be unmuted. This is all new technology to all of us. We're going to get better at it each and every day. With that, it is now 12:12, and this public hearing is closed. Thank you, guys. We can move forward with this. Do we have a motion to approve the annexation resolution A2 2020?
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Piner.
Second, Commissioner Givens.
Any discussion on this annexation? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you guys for coming into Elkton. We'll have you in 45 days, and we want that Super 7-Eleven built in like 2 weeks.
Okay,
Great.
we certainly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Yep, take care. Bye.
Okay, Lou, Town Administrator's report.
The only thing I want to comment on is the Neighborhood Community Center. What we're doing over there is I got a phone call a few minutes ago from Mary that Comcast has now set up the system over there, so we have internet service and phone service there. They put 5 phone sets in today, so we've established communication with that building. Theoretically, the cameras, our interior and exterior cameras, are going up Friday, assuming that we don't have really bad storm. Also, I think next week they're going to do the interior administrative office floors waxing. They're sealing them, and after that, we may be able to move some furniture in there. We're not sure about the gym floor yet. They have to seal it before they put the actual markings and things down. That may be a couple weeks off, but when that's done and the landscaping's done the week of the 27th, probably early the second, I'm guessing the first or second week in August, Meadows Construction will be in there and put the final course of pavement down and, of course, the markings for the parking lot. And at that point, maybe a couple punch list items, but it'll be mostly completed by then.
So the internal conditions have improved that allows the gym floor to be put down, and
No, they have to use a sealant because of the moisture. They can't get it below where they want, but they can put a surface on it in order to isolate the moisture, and that way that won't affect the floor.
yeah, because I know at one time that was one of the problems.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do.
Lou, can you give the board an update on the Armory building behind you?
The last communication I have was with the Maryland Historic Trust. They sent an easement to me along with Perry. I'm not sure if John got it or not.
I did, yep.
Okay, he got it too for review. They sent it to review, but you can't really change anything material in it. I think they just do it for lack of a better term, a little dog and pony show. But anyway, I found a couple errors and sent it back to them. And I had a question about, in that agreement, we have to have the Armory at least open to the public 2 days a year. And from 10 to 5, I thought that was an odd thing, but that's, you can have it open a lot more than that, but that's the minimum. And I sent a thing back to Sally Sharpos with the MHC, and she sent it to their attorney general or their office and said that, because I asked, I said, if we have a plague going on, we're not going to open it to anybody. And she said that it's still covered under that we wouldn't have to do that. So that was a question I had, and I have a couple of spelling errors, but this MHC easement gets squared away, then that'll be an exhibit as part of this agreement of sale. And theoretically, that can be ironed out, the agreement of sale, and then it'll go back to us for review, and then back to the Board of Public Works for approval. I think it takes several weeks to be on their agenda. And after that, settlement can occur, within a month or two or something. So that's where we are with the Armory right now.
Okay.
It looks nice behind me, see?
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, I like that backdrop, Louis.
Lou, do you want to bring up anything about the email you sent out yesterday?
About the chief?
Yes.
Yeah, the chief has chosen to retire. At least, of course, he's eligible to retire. And he was in our drop program anyway. So his last day is the 31st of August. And I'll appoint Joe Zarillo as the acting chief of police until we find another candidate or review candidates for that position. So that's the status on that.
Very good. I have nothing to report. Commissioner Rumel, do you have anything for the good of the town of Elkton?
Yes and no. I don't know how much Commissioner Massimiano has prepared. We met with Margie Blythestone about art revitalization downtown, and it was a good discussion. So I'm going to defer to him, and then maybe I can pick up anything that he might have missed.
All right, Commissioner Massimiano, you're on.
Well, I hadn't really prepared. I got to thinking about it this morning that she talked about.
Okay.
Her main focus was she was asking us what can we do to make Elkton more of an arts and entertainment district. And we suggested maybe some more of the merchants putting out their wares to make people aware that we are an art and entertainment district. Did you take notes, Gene?
Not really, but I mean, I can interject.
I left them home.
Okay. Yeah, I know you did. That's why I thought you were prepared.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of got caught off guard this morning.
That's okay. Yeah, we talked about, I know that the Alliance has a lot to do with vacant buildings, trying to initiate sales or rentals of those buildings, and it's important that of course they're in charge of that, but we were talking about how the Arts Council can really help make the downtown Elkton look inviting, as they have so to date. One of the things that we did talk about was the market was supposed to be painted, and it never got painted.
Right.
Whereas they came up with some somewhat muted colors, Commissioner Massimiano came right out and suggested, why not paint it red? And the more I thought about it, the more I agreed with him. We need to brighten things up. I know some of the buildings downtown, they have some game plan for finishing the murals and cleaning up the back of those stores. I think that's very important, since that's a main entrance into town. So I think that us working with them is important.
We also talked about the possible removal of the garden in the parking lot out back of where storage used to be.
Wow. The rain garden?
That's a
Yeah.
What is that?
That was a state project. We couldn't remove that.
State project.
Yeah, that was,
That's
high school did
stormwater
that.
management, quality control. You can't,
it's
that's a
water quality.
requirement.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
water
that's too
quality
bad.
device.
There's nothing we do, basically. It is what it is, right?
I'm sorry, what was that?
it's just, there's nothing we can do.
Does it just need to be maintained, weeded, or?
I don't know. I don't know. I think Commissioner Massimiano and I both agreed that we don't particularly think it enhances.
It kind of looks like a spot in the middle of the parking lot where nature just took over, you know.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a water quality device, and it was a grant through, I think it was someone at Fair Hill, had students, it was a high school project.
It was Elkton High School.
Yes.
Okay.
And also, if I can interject, I think I'm not sure it's called a check valve, but that also, in conjunction with that so-called rain garden, there is a huge one-way valve that helps with water coming up into that parking lot.
Well, that's a good thing.
It's just part of a larger underground infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If I can tack on to all this, I met with Ed from Public Works, our iron worker, and we discussed a layout and design for the gate that'll be at the top of the stairways. It's going to be really sharp. He's got some great ideas, and we'll make it look nice.
Fantastic. Just touching base on that farmer's market, it's definitely in need of a coat of paint. And I would love to see that red, Lou. Is that what you guys said? A red roof on that?
Red.
I can get Public Works to get it painted.
Yeah, I think it looked great with the bright red roof on it.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I think the whole thing needs spruced up.
Yep.
But if they're willing to paint it to some degree, that would free up our Public Works personnel.
I'm willing to paint it.
There you go.
I'm telling you, Margie Blystone said she would do it, and I said I would help her.
There you go.
I'm sure we can get other volunteers. If we can get the paint, we'll paint it.
Is that okay if we let him initiate that?
I'll let you guys work it out. I know one time they were wanting to put decorations on the posts, and the board decided not to go with those decorations.
Right.
I have all the confidence in the world in Rob Massimiano and Gene Brumel to lead this charge.
Thank you very much, sir. Consider it done.
All
There
right.
you go. Challenge accepted.
Commissioner Piner, you have anything today for the good of
No,
the
I have
party?
nothing.
Hi, Earl.
Commissioner
Hey,
Givens.
Yes, I was going to ask Lois in the drop program. I know the chief was in it, but the drop program that has the other officers in it, is that retroactive or do they have a certain date?
The 2020, I think it's 2022. Is that right, Steve?
The 2022 is the first group. That's
Yeah,
correct.
that's when they
The
have
first
they
group, the
resigned
four.
already.
Right.
That's when they leave, 2022.
And the last thing, I guess we all know that Dave Williams passed, and I'd just like to publicly acknowledge his death, that he really served the Elkton community as a businessman and a sports enthusiast, and he was an advocate for student education. His dealership started on Bridge Street, and it just rose to the occasion that it did with the William Auto Mall, which ended up on Route 40, and it's been a great addition to Elkton, Maryland.
Thank you, Charles.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, it's the time we open up the floor for public comments. I think we have two folks on here. If you need to speak up now. I see none. And we're going to call this meeting adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.